GT Countdown. The top 10 most anticipated games of E3 2011.
The biggest games of the year are almost ready to strut their stuff at E3 2011, and the anticipation here at GT is piping hot. While we're expecting a big console announcement from Nintendo, we wanted to keep this list focused strictly on the games. One word of warning first. This is not a rundown of what we think will be the best games at the show. Instead, it's more about knowing just enough about each one to be officially excited, but not enough to start saving up for a pre-order. Which games have our controller cords twisted? There's only one way to find out.
Number 10. Dark Souls.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger is one of the few things we know about Dark Souls. The spiritual sequel to surprise hit Demon Souls still has plenty of secrets to share, with info being dispensed like a slow morphine drip. Exquisite tiny details, but not enough to shut down your senses. We've glimpsed both combat and kingdoms, but there's a giant checklist to still figure out, like how the innovative online will work, and what to make of the mysterious oath system where good and evil are perhaps phased out if the whisperings from Japan are to be believed.
Number 9. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Some might say another year, another Call of Duty, and that's why it finds itself in the number 9 slot. But there's no denying that the franchise has turned into the industry's biggest, and with that comes a lot of questions. Will the tried and true multiplayer get an overhaul? How will the trilogy wrap up? Will it continue to be a seizure in video game form? Will we finally get some vehicles online? The questions go on and on for this 800-pound gorilla.
Number 8. Battlefield 3.
For the past few years, we've gladly marched alongside some bad company and even sorted through the murky marshes of Vietnam. But with the announcement of a true series sequel, our internal hype protocols are issuing a code red. The bigger and better Battlefield of tomorrow looks like a truly perilous war zone indeed, teasing tense firefights, stunning graphics, and untold magnitudes of destruction as RPGs barrel headlong into multi-story buildings. From the little we've seen thus far, Battlefield 3 definitely looks the part of a top-tier military shooter, but can it truly give Activision's #1 gun a run for its money? For now, all the unknowns allow it to claim a small victory, inching out Modern Warfare 3 for number 8 on our list.
Number 7. Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception.
Naughty Dog continues to stun us with Nathan Drake's new adventures taking him through burning buildings and shifting sands. There's no doubt that the production will be top-notch with exceptional acting and animation, but we're especially curious to see more of Uncharted 3's cinematic take on multiplayer and the as-of-yet unrevealed co-op experience. At this point, the single-player adventure does feel somewhat predictable, so we're hoping for something fresh and inspiring on that front as well.
Perfect.
Number 6. Tomb Raider.
Once part of the creme de la creme of the gaming elite, the Tomb Raider series and its iconic heroine Lara Croft have drifted dangerously close to obscurity in recent years. Rather than settling for early retirement, Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix are reinventing the British archaeologist for a new generation. The upcoming entry is a complete reboot, focusing on the origins of a grittier, younger, and darker Lara. She's also expanding her arsenal to include a bow and axe in addition to her patented pistol. We'll be the first one to admit a soft spot for the sultry vixen, and we can't wait to see if she really brings it at E3.
Number 5. The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword.
We got our first sampling of Skyward Sword at last year's E3, but the underwhelming showcase has left us wanting more. In truth, we really know very little about this game's plot, and we've yet to see any signs of the supposed shakeup of the series' established formula. Nintendo remains as tight-lipped as ever about the upcoming Zelda game, which already missed its initial launch window of this spring. With a new console looming on the horizon, will Skyward Sword share the same fate as Twilight Princess? Or is Nintendo simply saving its ace for the crowded holiday season? There are just too many questions, and hardly any answers at this point.
Number 4. Mass Effect 3.
The final act of the Mass Effect trilogy carries not only the dramatic weight of the two preceding games, it's the next step for a refined game design that's morphed and stretched perceptions of the RPG genre. In Mass Effect 2, you build a crew, and in this game, you'll have to rally an entire galaxy to combat the massive threat of the Reapers. The scale is supposedly bigger than ever before, both in the decisions you make and the battles you fight. Even if you haven't been carrying your save from the very first game, Mass Effect 3 offers much to look forward to.
Number 3. Batman: Arkham City:
Bat fans have been screaming for an open-world Dark Knight game for years. The prospect of randomly gliding around Arkham City has us quivering in our black boots. The team wisely didn't burn through the most popular Batman villains in the first game, leaving heavyweights like Catwoman and Two-Face to lead the criminal charge. And the freedom this warring district of Gotham seems to provide is downright intoxicating. How will the sandbox be handled? What other villains await? The anticipation is killing us.
Number 2. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim.
When procuring fond video game memories, traversing Cyrodiil and Oblivion and blasting mutants point blank in Fallout 3 quickly come to mind. It's no wonder then that Bethesda's next big RPG has us positively amped. Axing the muddy apocalyptic aesthetic, the vibrant world reintroduces color and is chock full of expansive locales. Dragons cruise the skylines, lumbering giants stagger mountain trails, and multi-climate environments promise plenty of danger. We're hoping E3 will shed more light on the engrossing storyline, but we can't wait to try out the new experimental magical powers.
Number 1.
That's him!
BioShock Infinite.
Infinite bears the unmistakable BioShock pedigree with a visual style that no other studio can hope to imitate, and it's heavy on the gameplay themes that make the original so memorable. One intriguing detail that's emerged is the way that Elizabeth, your partner character, can manipulate the tears in reality appearing all over the floating city of Columbia. We know that they can provide weapons and ammo or sometimes cause you to be displaced in time, but we can only imagine what else they're about. By design, BioShock is a mysterious franchise, which makes it only fitting that it tops our list of the most anticipated games of E3 2011. Stay tuned to GameTrailers and Spike TV for the most exhaustive coverage of E3 2011. It all begins on Monday, June 6th at noon Eastern, as Spike TV goes live to exclusively air the Microsoft and Electronic Arts media briefings commercial-free. The 5-hour block of live programming will also include tons of exclusive game debuts, developer walkthroughs, and interviews with the industry's biggest players. If you can't make it to a TV, GameTrailers.com will be streaming every single E3 press conference live, in addition to its unparalleled around-the-clock coverage of the show. If you want to see E3 first, you'll get it with Spike TV and GT.